Hello, bachcho. Let's see the question. So the question says how many copies of DNA sample are produced in PCR technique after 6 cycles. So in this question हमें इन चारों ऑप्शंस में से वो आइडेंटिफाई करना है जहां पे अगर हमने एक डीएनए सैंपल को पीसीआर टेक्निक के थ्रू से क्रॉस किया और उसको 6 टाइम्स रिपीट किया तो कितने सारे डीएनए कॉपीज हमें मिलेंगे. So first of all, the key concept in this question is to understand PCR, also known as the polymerase chain reaction. So, PCR is a technique which is used for DNA amplification. So, with the help of PCR, we can make multiple copies of a DNA sample. So, when the DNA is copied, so if we have in the first cycle, this is one DNA sample which has two DNA strands. Then both the DNA strands will act like DNA templates, and this will result in the formation of two DNA copies of the same DNA molecule. So, since both the DNA strands act like template, we get the formation of two new DNA strands. Then from this DNA strand, we'll get another two DNA samples, and from this DNA sample, we'll get more two DNA samples. So in this way, so if this is the first cycle and this is the second cycle, so in this way, by repeating the cycles of the PCR one by one, it will result in the formation of more and more copies of the DNA. So we can say that the number of DNA copies which are formed of the single sample will be equal to 2 to the power n, where n is equal to the number of cycles or the number of times the PCR technique is repeated. So, since here in the question it's given that n is equal to 6, that is the PCR technique is repeated for 6 times. So there are 6 cycles in total. Therefore, the number of DNA copies which are formed, which is equal to 2 to the power 6, which is equal to 64. So we can say that the number of copies of DNA which will be formed after repeating the cycle for 6 times, that will be 64. So now if we come back to the question, then option 3 will be the correct answer, because the number of copies which will be formed by repeating the cycle for 6 times will be 64. Other options are incorrect because 4 will be when the cycle number is 2. So this won't be correct. 32 will be the answer if the cycle is repeated for 5 times. So this is incorrect. And 16 will be the number of DNA copies when the cycle is repeated for 4 times. So again, this is incorrect. So the final answer is option 3, that is 64. So this is our final answer. Hope you understood this well. Best of luck. Thank you.